Pleasant good afternoon. I know it's the 15th day of the year, but the month, may I wish you all a happy new year. May I wish you God's blessings and may his favors rest upon you. Psalms 46 declares, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be moved, though the mountains be carried in the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. There is a river, the stream whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place, the tabernacle of the Most High. I say to the house of assembly, God is in the midst of you. God, you shall not be moved. God shall help you, and that right early. The Lord of hosts is with you, house of assembly. The God of Jacob is your refuge. Let us pray. Oh God, our Father, we thank you this afternoon for your blessings. We thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. It is your grace and mercy that brought us through. And this afternoon, Lord, we are living this moment because of you. And so we just want to praise you for life. Thank you. It's a good day in paradise. It's a blessed day. It's a great day. So, Lord, as a people, we come to tell you thanks. Lord, you could have been otherwise minded, but you have brought us through. And here, Lord, your people come this afternoon to do business. You declare in your words that it shall be suffered in business, but fervent in spirit serving you. I pray, oh God, that your presence, your anointing will rest upon this house. May the anointing of God, may your power, may your spirit watch and walk with these men and women to the Lord as they do business for you. Bless them now, oh God, the speaker, the clerk, the premier, the other members of the House of Assembly. We pray, God, that your presence will be with them. Lord, if your presence don't go with them, don't let them go. May they seek your favors. May they seek your guidance, Lord. In all they do, they shall say, yes, it is for the BVI. We praise you now for Christ's sake. Can we say our Father prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I wish you a productive meeting in Jesus' name.
This house now convenes its sitting. Good afternoon, everyone. I call upon the clerk.
Item number 2, administration of oaths. Item number 3, confirmation of minutes.
Honorable members, is it your pleasure that the minutes of the meeting held on the 18th day of September 2025, which have been circulated to members, be confirmed? Yes. Honorable Skelton? Okay.
Going through the minutes, you note that all the time have been accounted for. But when you get to which page? Page 7. It has the House recess at 7:27 p.m. until Tuesday the 23rd of September at 10 a.m. And then the next line is the House resume at 11:18 a.m. on Tuesday, 23rd of September. Should we not account for the time that we say we're going to meet and we didn't meet? I know sometimes the government comes and they have the emergency meeting in the back, but otherwise, if you leave it like this, Madam Speaker, the historian's going to put what they want in between those lines. Because this is an hour and 18 minutes that we haven't accounted for. And if you go through the minutes, only in those instances is not accounted for. So there's like time that does not exist in the House. It's just a concern that I noticed, Madam Speaker.
So perhaps this is something that we need to just consider and just review these particular minutes?
Yeah, it's too much of it in these minutes. It's too many times.
Okay.
I
All right,
don't know.
members, so at this time, we will hold off on these minutes just to confirm the position. Honorable members, is it your pleasure that the minutes of the meeting held on the 30th day of October 2025, which have been circulated to members, be confirmed? Are there any concerns with these minutes? Yes.
Give me a second, Madam Speaker, if you don't mind. Just, Madam Speaker, just another concern. On page 6, we have the committee recess at 9:03 p.m. until 10 a.m. Friday 34th. And then on the next line, you got a committee continue. But in the minutes, through the minutes, the previous minutes and this minute, it has the committee resume instead of continue. So there's should be a little difference in the wording there. Did we continue or did we resume? Because it's another day.
All right, so we will do the same. We will hold on these minutes to be confirmed. Any other concerns to be raised?
No, Madam. There is the same, along the same line before, but that's it.
Okay. Honorable members, is it your pleasure that the minutes of the meeting held on the 4th day of November 2025, which have been circulated to members, be confirmed? Is there a similar concern? Okay. All right. There being no dissenting voice, the minutes hereby stand confirmed as circulated. I call on the clock.
Item number 4, announcements by the Speaker. Item number 5, statements by ministers.
At this time, I call on the Premier Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Say to you and your staff and the members of the House, Happy New Year. I rise today to address this Honorable House on the amendments to the Commercial Recreational Vessel Licensing Framework and related maritime reforms, and to place on the public record the policy intent, improvement priorities, and engagement processes that have guided this administration. Madam Speaker, at the heart of these reforms lies a fundamental principle. The government of the Virgin Islands has both the right and the responsibility to steward its natural resources in a manner that secures the territory's long-term economic future. Our maritime space is one of our most valuable natural endowments. It is a strategic economic asset, a source of national prosperity, and a pillar of our blue economy. This administration is firmly committed to ensuring that it is governed responsibly, sustainably, and in the best interest of the people of these Virgin Islands. Madam Speaker, the amendments to the CRVL framework arise from a deliberate and structured review of our maritime regulatory regime. They are designed to modernize administration, strengthen compliance, enhance service delivery, and ensure that commercial use of our waters is aligned with the true value of the resources and infrastructure being utilized. This is an exercise in sound governance, not confrontation, in stewardship, not restriction. Madam Speaker, it is important for this Honorable House to note that the revised framework has delivered clear and positive improvements in overall performance, particularly in non-tax revenue outcomes. These improvements reflect stronger structural alignment, ensuring that those who derive commercial benefit from our maritime space make an appropriate contribution to its upkeep and regulation, rather than reliance on increased vessel volumes alone. Several key improvement areas underpin these outcomes. Firstly, there has been enhanced regulatory clarity and license integrity, ensuring that vessel categorization, registration requirements, and permitted activities are clearly defined and consistently applied. This strengthens compliance, fairness, and confidence in the system. Secondly, the framework has improved value capture from higher value segments of the marine tourism market, including foreign-based vessels and larger charter yachts. This reflects an intentional policy choice to focus on quality, sustainability, and long-term economic resilience, rather than a race to the bottom. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, the reforms are inseparable from this administration's investment in modern, efficient public services. Central to this is the Commercial Recreational Vessel License digital portal, which is now in advanced stage of testing. This platform will transform how operators interact with government by streamlining applications, renewals, approvals, and payments, reducing processing delays, improving compliance oversight, and increasing transparency. The system is undergoing rigorous real-world testing to ensure security, reliability, and seamless integration before full deployment. Fourthly, Madam Speaker, the strengthened framework supports improved data collection and sector intelligence, enabling government to make informed, evidence-based decisions in managing what is one of the most important sectors of our economy. Madam Speaker, having addressed the policy rationale, performance improvements, and administrative reforms, I now turn to the regional and diplomatic context. The Virgin Islands and United States Virgin Islands share deep historical, cultural, and economic ties. This administration values those relationships and has approached this matter in a spirit of dialogue and mutual respect. Engagements with the government of the United States Virgin Islands, including direct discussions with Governor Albert Bryan, Jr. and his delegation, have allowed us to explain our policy objectives, listen to concerns, and reaffirm our commitment to constructive engagement. However, Madam Speaker, cooperation does not diminish sovereignty. The government of the Virgin Islands will always exercise its diplomatic and legislative authority to protect its economic interests and responsibly manage its natural resources. These reforms were not designed to target any jurisdiction, nor are they retaliatory in nature. They are a legitimate expression of our right to regulate commercial activity within our territorial waters in a manner that is fair, transparent, and intentionally aligned. Madam Speaker, this administration has also been deliberate in rejecting escalation. There have been moves towards punitive measures or retaliatory enforcement. Instead, we continue to pursue dialogue, de-escalation, and engagement through established inter-Virgin Islands mechanisms, while remaining steadfast in our responsibility to govern in the best interests of the Virgin Islands and its people. In closing, Madam Speaker, the CRVL amendments and associated maritime reforms represent a balanced assertion of good governance and economic self-determination. They strengthen revenue performance through structural alignment, deliver tangible service improvements through digital transformation, enhance regulatory integrity, and affirm this administration's commitment to securing the Virgin Islands' economic future through responsible stewardship of its natural resources. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my next statement is on the rated program. Madam Speaker, the government of the Virgin Islands acknowledged the existence of unemployed and underemployed individuals within the territory who experience difficulties supporting their families and meeting living costs. These individuals often rely on limited social welfare and support from non-governmental organizations. The government also recognized the occasional need for temporary workers in both public and private sectors to address short-term workforce gaps. As a result, the rated program was established to provide temporary employment opportunities along with pathways for training and skill development to enhance participants' employability. Madam Speaker, the rated program is currently being administered by the Ministry of Financial Services, Economic Development and Digital Transformation, and offers opportunities through temporary short-term employment in government departments requiring additional resources, apprenticeships paid via stipends in partnership with public and private sector organizations, and training, education, and skills development. Madam Speaker, in 2025, $3 million was allocated to the rated program to cover payments to the participants' training and contributions to Social Security, NHI, and payroll tax. As a result of the 419 applications received, 318 persons were assisted. Of that amount, 297 were placed in temporary employment for roadside cleaning, and 11 apprentices. In addition, 21 apprentices were also trained. Madam Speaker, the benefits of the program have been evident through its achievements, which include numerous participants gaining practical work experience, improving their skills, confidence, and employability. The experience gained from the program has allowed some participants to qualify for and secure full-time positions with various ministries and departments. To date, 9 individuals have successfully transitioned to permanent employment following participation in the program. 21 young participants also benefited from a job readiness training session delivered in partnership with Higher BVI. Madam Speaker, while these achievements are commendable, there are areas for improvements which are being addressed through updating the program's mandate, amendments to the policy, instituting accountability, safety and performance evaluation mechanisms, improvement in the financial processes, increased public outreach, closer collaboration with partners, stakeholders, etc. Madam Speaker, looking ahead, we intend to expand the program into additional sectors, including agriculture, technology, marine services, hospitality, construction, utilities, and landscaping, in order to create broader pathways to employment and skills development across the territory. We are also engaging professionals to better assess the capabilities, interests, and developmental needs of applicants, to offer them more tailored and individualized assistance to fulfilling their career and personal aspirations. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to welcome the assistance of Honorable Stacey Mather, who brings decades of committed, passionate, and dedicated experience in youth development to elevate the impact of the rated program. Since joining the government, Honorable Mather has hit the ground running with the rated program, and his impact will soon be felt and seen as we prepare to relaunch rated under the direction of an advisory body headed by Honorable Mather. Madam Speaker, the rated program continues to provide a vital avenue of support for those for whom it was designed, while addressing critical workforce gaps within the territory. We therefore remain committed to strengthening the program and making it more robust with a view to more effectively reduce unemployment and underemployment by equipping participants with the skills, training, experience, and support necessary to help them develop so they can secure sustainable, permanent employment and business opportunities within the territory. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, can I ask for a brief recess, please?
Let's take a brief recess.
Speaker.
This House now resumes its sitting. Yes, Premier, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my next statement is an update on the Virgin Islands Commercial Agriculture and Fisheries Grant Policy. Madam Speaker, I rise today to inform this Honorable House and the people of the Virgin Islands of the government's approval of and implementation for the Commercial Agriculture and Fisheries Grant Policy, entitled From Land and Sea to Enterprise, Unlocking the Economic Potential of Agriculture and Fisheries. Cabinet approved this policy on Wednesday, the 7th January 2026, making an important milestone in our ongoing efforts to strengthen food security, stimulate economic activity, and build resilience within our agricultural and fisheries sectors. This policy represents a deliberate and strategic step by my government. It recognizes that while agriculture and fisheries are deeply rooted in our history and culture, they must now be repositioned as viable, modern, and competitive contributors to our economy. Madam Speaker, the Virgin Islands currently imports most of its food supply. Recent global disruptions have clearly demonstrated the vulnerability of small island states like ours to supply chain shocks and rising food costs. This policy responds directly to those realities by providing targeted financial support to farmers, fishers, agro-processors, and fish processors who are already engaged in commercial activity, as well as those who are ready to scale up viable operations. For the current financial year, Cabinet has approved a budgetary allocation of $136,521.86 to support the implementation of this grant program. Of course, we will supplement that in SAPs. These funds will be administered in accordance with a transparent, fair, and accountable framework, with grant ceilings of up to $10,000 for small scale, $25,000 for medium scale, and $50,000 for large scale commercial operations. Grants may be applied towards capital investment, operational inputs, training, innovation, and the adoption of modern technologies, excluding the purchase of land. Madam Speaker, this is not a handout program. It is an investment program. It is anchored in clear eligibility criteria, a structured application and evaluation process, strong financial management standards, and robust monitoring and reporting requirements to ensure the value for money and public accountability. Importantly, the policy recognizes agriculture and fisheries in their broadest sense, encompassing food and non-food crops, livestock, aquaculture, agro-processing, fish processing, and innovation within the blue economy. It supports not only increased production, but also value-added activities, entrepreneurship, job creation, and income diversification. The grant program will be administered by the Premier's Office, a ministry responsible for agriculture and fisheries, supported by a multidisciplinary grant committee and guided by national priorities under the Virgin Islands Food Security and Sustainability Act 2022 and Vision 2036. Now that we have had Cabinet approval, the implementation phase is now underway. This includes the formal appointment of the Commercial Agriculture and Fisheries Grant Committee, which will be responsible for reviewing and assessing applications and making recommendations to the Minister. I wish to note that an advertisement inviting suitably qualified persons to serve on the grant committee has already been issued, and appointments will be finalized in keeping with established procedures. Madam Speaker, I wish to advise this Honorable House that the government will launch the application process for the grant program on Friday, the 16th January 2026. The application forms will be available on the government's website on that day to ensure that applicants can access the full application package. The first call for applications will therefore open immediately following that announcement, and completed applications must be submitted by Friday, the 13th February 2026. Madam Speaker, through this policy, my government is sending a clear message. We believe in our farmers, we believe in our fishers, and we are committed to partnering with them to build a more resilient, productive, and self-reliant Virgin Islands. I commend this policy to this Honorable House and look forward to its positive impact across our territory. Thank you, Madam Speaker. My last statement, Madam Speaker, is on tourism and Prospect Reef. Madam Speaker, I am pleased to report that the Virgin Islands tourism sector continues to demonstrate sustained recovery, renewed growth, and continued confidence in our destination. An analysis of tourism arrivals for 2025, when compared with both 2024 and the pre-hurricane disruption benchmark year of 2016, confirms that we have returned to pre-hurricane levels, but now face a shift in the growth structure of the industry. A close examination of our tourism arrivals data reveals important distinctions between the performance of overnight visitors and cruise passengers, and what these trends tell us about the nature of our recovery and growth. In 2025, total visitor arrivals stood at 1,202,008 visitors, reflecting a destination that has firmly reestablished itself in the global tourism marketplace. Madam Speaker, that is a new record for arrivals. When compared to 2016, total arrivals are 6.9% higher. When compared to 2024, there has been a 10% increase in total arrivals. Last year represents the highest total number of visitors frequenting the Virgin Islands. Cruise passengers' arrivals in 2025 were 875,127, representing an increase of 13.9% above 2024 levels. This performance confirms the continued strength and competitiveness of the territory within regional cruise itineraries and demonstrates sustained confidence by cruise lines in our ports, services, and visitor experience. Madam Speaker, that too is a record for cruise arrivals. The more telling indicator, however, lies within the overnight visitor segment. In 2025, overnight arrivals totaled approximately 302,828 visitors. Importantly, year-on-year comparisons between 2025 and 2024 show relative stability in overnight arrivals, reflecting continued traveler confidence in the Virgin Islands as a destination for longer stays and deeper engagement. Madam Speaker, this distinction matters. Overnight visitors are supporting our hotels, villas, marine services, restaurants, transportation providers, cultural practitioners, and small businesses across our islands. The strengthening of this segment between 2024 and 2025 signals that our recovery is increasingly anchored in quality, resilience, and value. Madam Speaker, taken together, these trends demonstrate that the Virgin Islands tourism recovery is both sustained and strategic. Cruise tourism continues to perform strongly, while overnight tourism, though still rebuilding relative to historic peaks, shows clear momentum and growing confidence in what the Virgin Islands offers as a premium, experience-based destination. This trajectory reinforces the soundness of our policy direction and provides a stable platform for continued investment, product enhancement, and strategic growth within the tourism sector. Building on this momentum, government is now advancing the formulation of the National Tourism Policy, which will shortly be released for public awareness and comments as a foundational framework to guide the sector's future development. In parallel, a robust response has been received to the call for proposals for the consultancy to develop the National Tourism Strategy, with submissions currently under assessment in accordance with established procurement processes to ensure the effective delivery of the plan. Madam Speaker, the National Tourism Policy represents a significant milestone in government's commitment to the tourism sector and provides a clear modern framework to guide its growth and diversification. At its core, the policy articulates government's long-term commitment to strengthening tourism as a central pillar of the Virgin Islands economy, one that supports livelihoods, encourages investment, protects our natural and cultural assets, and ensures that the benefits of tourism are more widely and sustainably shared across our communities. The policy sets out clear objectives focused on improving governance and coordination across government, strengthening the overnight and marine tourism product, enhancing destination quality and resilience, and aligning tourism development with national sustainable development goals. As part of an inclusive and transparent process, the draft National Tourism Policy will shortly be published on the government's website for public awareness and comment, providing residents, stakeholders, and industry partners with the opportunity to review the draft policy and contribute meaningfully to shaping the future direction of the sector. Importantly, the National Tourism Policy is intended not as an end, but as a practical framework to guide implementation, inform legislative reform, and direct public and private investment toward priority areas that will strengthen and modernize the tourism sector. Madam Speaker, while the National Tourism Policy establishes the direction and intent of government, the National Tourism Strategy will serve as a primary implementation and delivery instrument. The strategy will translate policy objectives into clear, costed, and time-bound actions, setting out priorities for product development, enhancing the visitor experience, developing niche markets such as cultural tourism, market positioning, airlift, marine tourism, human capital development, destination management, and institutional strengthening. I'm pleased to report that government has received a robust response of qualified bids to the call for proposals for the consultancy to develop the National Tourism Strategy. These submissions are currently under consideration in accordance with established procurement processes, reflecting strong market confidence in the Virgin Islands and broad interest in supporting the next phase of the sector's development. Once appointed, the consultant will work closely with government, industry stakeholders, and communities to produce a practical and implementable strategy that aligns with the national budget cycle, guides public and private investment decisions, and establishes clear mechanisms for monitoring performance and outcomes. Madam Speaker, the development of the National Tourism Strategy represents a decisive step in moving from recovery to structured growth, ensuring that tourism development in the Virgin Islands is coordinated, resilient, and capable of delivering long-term economic value and sustained livelihoods for our people. Madam Speaker, as government advances the strategic framework for tourism development, it has also taken decisive cabinet action on priority assets critical to the sector's long-term growth. I now turn to the steps taken by cabinet to advance the redevelopment of Prospect Reef Resort, including the endorsement of the recommendations made by the Prospect Reef Management Company to proceed with the receipt of proposals from interested firms. The company will issue formal requests for proposals to the interested firms in short order. Madam Speaker, the subject of Prospect Reef will be transferred to the Ministry of Financial Services, Economic Development, and Digital Transformation to support effective delivery of this important national project under the investment mandate assigned to the ministry. Madam Speaker, taken together, these initiatives reflect a government that is acting with purpose and intent strengthening recovery, setting clear policy direction, and advancing implementation through concrete decisions and investment-ready actions. From improving airlift and rebuilding overnight tourism to finalizing a modern national tourism policy, advancing a delivery-focused national tourism strategy, and unlocking the potential of strategic national assets, the Virgin Islands is positioning its tourism sector for sustainable, inclusive, and long-term growth. This is about protecting livelihoods, building confidence, and ensuring that tourism continues to work for our people, our communities, and future generations. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize the Minister for Communications and Works, Honorable Kai Reimer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise today to provide this Honorable House with a comprehensive update on passenger traffic to the airports operated by the British Virgin Islands Airports Authority. These figures are more than statistics. They are a direct measure of the recovery, resilience, and renewed momentum of the Virgin Islands economy, our tourism sector, and our connectivity with the region and the world. The annual passenger numbers are as follows. In 2016, we saw 234,130 passengers. That was the pre-Hurricane Irma numbers. 2017, we saw 205,463 passengers. In 2019, pre-COVID numbers, we had 217,272 passengers. 2022, 175,532 passengers. In 2023, 218,582 passengers. In 2024, 278,085 passengers. In 2025, 317,676 passengers. Madam Speaker, these figures tell a powerful story. Following the unprecedented disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, passenger traffic in 2022 stood, as I mentioned, 175,532, reflecting the lingering effects of reduced airlift and suppressed global travel demand. However, in 2023, traffic rebounded to 218,582 passengers, an increase of 24.5% over 2022. Importantly, this marked a full recovery to and a slight exceedance of the pre-COVID-19 level of 216,272 passengers. In 2024, passenger numbers rose to 278,085 passengers, an increase of 59,503 passengers, or 27.2% over 2023. In 2025, traffic climbed again to 317,676 passengers, an increase of 39,591 passengers, or 14.2% over 2024. Madam Speaker, 2025 marks the first time since 2008 that passenger traffic through the Virgin Islands airports has exceeded the 300,000 passenger threshold. In 2008, the total passenger movement stood at 310,089 passengers, with 317,676 passengers recorded in 2025. The territory has now surpassed that historic high water mark, establishing a new benchmark for aviation performance in the Virgin Islands. Compared with the pre-COVID year of 2019, passenger numbers in 2025 are higher by more than 101,000 passengers, representing a growth of approximately 47% over that period. This sustained growth is not accidental. It reflects the deliberate and strategic efforts of the British Virgin Islands Airports Authority, supported by the government and guided by its air service development strategy, which focuses on expanding and strengthening regional air connectivity, establishing non-stop service to the United States mainland, increasing frequency and reliability of service, strengthening airline partnership across the Caribbean and beyond, and enhancing passenger experience and operational efficiency. Madam Speaker, I must take this opportunity to publicly recognize and thank the Managing Director of the BVI Airports Authority for the hard work, professionalism, and leadership he provided during this time. Under his stewardship, the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport has been repositioned as one of the region's most important and desirable gateways, directly contributing to the impressive passenger growth we are now witnessing. Madam Speaker, I'm aware that the Managing Director's contract will soon expire. On behalf of the government and the people of the Virgin Islands, I wish to place on record our sincere appreciation for his dedication, strategic leadership, and commitment to excellence. The government remains fully committed to building on the strong foundation laid, and we will ensure the right leadership remains in place and continue the work already underway to position our airport as the central economic driver of tourism in the Virgin Islands. Madam Speaker, our airports are the principal gateways for long-stay visitors and international air traffic, making them a cornerstone of our tourism economy. At the same time, we do not discount the vital and long-standing contribution of our ferry operators, who have played and continue to play a critical role in moving visitors and residents between the Virgin Islands and our regional neighbors. We remain grateful for their contribution over the years and for their continued role in the foreseeable future as part of our integrated tourism and transport system. All indications are that this upward trajectory will continue. With expanding airlift, deeper regional integration, and sustained tourism demand, passenger volumes are projected to rise further in the coming years, all things being equal. This growth aligns squarely with the BVIAA's vision of being the premier gateway to the BVI and beyond. Our airports are no longer merely points of arrival and departure. They are strategic economic enablers, facilitating tourism, trade, and investment. Madam Speaker, the performance of our airports reflect a remarkable post-pandemic recovery and the beginning of a new era of sustained growth. From 175,572 passengers in 2022 to 317,676 passengers in 2025. The Virgin Islands has not only recovered, but has surpassed its previous peak. This is a result of sound policy, strong institutional leadership, and a clear strategic vision for aviation. The government remains firmly committed to supporting the BVIAA as it continues to strengthen the Virgin Islands' position as a leading Caribbean gateway. Madam Speaker, as part of our continued commitment to improving the passenger experience also at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport, I am pleased to update this Honorable House on the terminal canopy project. A contract has been signed for its design, manufacture, and installation of new canopies over from the parking lot to the terminal building. These canopies will significantly enhance passenger comfort by providing much-needed shelter from sun and rain, while also contributing to the modernization and visual enhancement of the airport's facade. The canopies are currently in the manufacturing phase and are scheduled to be shipped by the end of January. This project represents another important step towards improving the terminal's functionality and appearance as we prepare for continued growth in passenger traffic. Madam Speaker, an update on the runway expansion project. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to inform this Honorable House that the outline business case prepared by KPMG and approved by Cabinet was submitted to the United Kingdom Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office in November of 2025 for review and feedback. The Honorable Premier and I also held constructive discussions with the UK Overseas Territories Minister during the Joint Ministerial Council meetings in London. We are grateful for the United Kingdom's government's full assurance and support for the runway expansion project, which is vital to the long-term growth and resilience of our tourism and aviation sectors. We are also especially encouraged by the public endorsement by the project by Dame Margaret Hodge during her visit to the territory in 2025, which further reinforces the importance of this investment to the Virgin Islands and to our partners in the United Kingdom. In the meantime, Madam Speaker, the terms of reference for the environmental impact assessment and an expression of interest has been drafted and are currently being finalized with a view to their imminent launch. These steps represent real and measurable progress towards the delivery of a modernized runway and a stronger aviation future for the Virgin Islands, one that will continue to drive tourism, economic growth, and opportunity for our people. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
I recognize the Minister for Health, Honorable Vincent Wheatley.
Speaker, Madam Speaker, I rise to inform this House of a few things taking place in territory and also to inform the territory. My first statement, Madam Speaker, is the National Health Insurance 10-year anniversary. Madam Speaker, the National Health Insurance marked its 10th anniversary with a week of activities held from 4th to 10th January 2026. This milestone represented not merely an anniversary celebration, but a decade of unwavering commitment to the health and well-being of our territory. It also provided an opportunity to reflect on our roots, acknowledge our growth, and look ahead to the future of healthcare for all. Madam Speaker, 10 years ago, our leaders at that time made a deliberate and pivotal choice. It was a choice born from the fundamental belief that healthcare is a right, not a privilege. The seed was planted for a national health insurance which envisioned a future where universal access to healthcare was a reality for every citizen. Over the past decade, valuable lessons have been learned, and the NHI team has grown through challenges and experience. At the same time, we have witnessed tangible benefits, increased stability, and a widespread protection that NHI now provides, providing financial security during some of life's most vulnerable times, improving access to health care, and fostering peace of mind for countless families. The NHI strategy and developmental milestones have focused on enhancing claims accuracy, building strong provider relations, and boosting system efficiencies. This journey has been underpinned by a shared national commitment, fostering social solidarity and persistent planning to ensure long-term sustainability. Madam Speaker, as we reflect on NHI's growth, it's important to highlight some of the key milestones that demonstrate the strong roots NHI has established. First and foremost, I wish to emphasize a core principle. The NHI remains firmly guided by their legislative mandate. every decision made is rooted in the principle of fairness, equity, and sustainability. Where requests for claims or benefits fall within the legal authority, they act swiftly to support their beneficiaries. However, when they do not, they are bound to uphold the integrity of the system, not out of unwillingness, but out of duty. This commitment ensures the long-term viability and fairness of NHI for everyone. Some of the notable progress within the NHI system includes: 1, significant expansion in coverage, growing from 33,776 registered beneficiaries to an estimated 37,000 registrants by the end of 2025, which demonstrates consistency and growth in the number of registrants, a testament to their reach. Individual claims have also surged from 386,000 per year in 2016 to approximately 347,466 by the end of 2025, a growth of 67%, reflecting increased utilization and trust in the system. NHI's local credential provider network has nearly tripled from 44 to 116, expanding access to care across the territory. IT systems continue to be automated, providing more timely explanations of benefits for both members and providers. Clinical guidelines for claims processing have been upgraded, simplifying submissions for the providers. Billing controls have been implemented and oversight enhanced, ensuring fiscal responsibility. The expansion of the overseas network has opened greater opportunities and a wider network of care for beneficiaries. The registration system was improved, introducing online capabilities for beneficiaries to register and manage/file contributions and submit payments. And notably, Madam Speaker, we have seen a reduction in air ambulance transfers, trending down due to improved collaboration and management. Since inception as of December 2025, NHI has facilitated some 248 medical evacuations, an average of 25 medical evacuations per year, ensuring critical life-saving access when needed most. Madam Speaker, NHI has significantly reduced financial barriers to healthcare. This means individuals are more likely to seek medical attention proactively when symptoms first appear, promoting preventative care, early diagnosis, and timely intervention. Just a simple knowledge that a safety net exists for healthcare costs, combined with improved access to services, significantly reduces the anxiety and stress often associated with health emergencies or ongoing medical needs. The impact of early access is profound. It leads to more effective treatment, higher rates of recovery, and improved management of chronic diseases. This contributes to a healthier population, reduced disease burden, and increased life expectancy. It also lessens the strain on emergency services as more people proactively manage their health. This peace of mind extends beyond physical health, contributing to overall mental and emotional well-being. Families can plan their lives with greater security, knowing that an illness or injury won't necessarily lead to financial ruin, reinforcing the idea of healthcare as a fundamental right. Madam Speaker, the cost of an emergency airlift often exceeds $30,000. Without coverage, this could devastate a family's finances overnight. But with the right protection, the same situation becomes manageable, turning a potential crisis into a moment of relief rather than financial catastrophe. This is equitable health care for all. Madam Speaker, no success of this magnitude is achieved alone. NHI's journey over the last 10 years has been a testament to the power of partnerships. We extend our deepest gratitude to our invaluable partners. Their dedicated healthcare professionals and administrators who are on the front lines providing care. Government, employers, and contributors whose unwavering support and consistent contributions form the backbone of this system. The board of directors, both past and present, management and staff of NHI, whose tireless efforts drive our mission forward, and most importantly, the people, all of us, who continue to nurture this system and benefit from its growth. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for being integral to our shared success. Madam Speaker, just as nature experiences seasons of growth, so too has NHI. The team has embraced every challenge as opportunities to learn and strengthen the system. They have learned the importance of continuous improvement and accountability in all their operations. They have recognized the need for greater preparedness for future health needs and the ongoing development of robust disease management and wellness programs. Improving data and health system coordination remains a key focus, along with a critical need for improved data and analytics to inform our decisions. And they understand the necessity for enhanced collaboration with the BVI Health Service Authority and all other stakeholders to achieve a truly integrated and efficient healthcare ecosystem. Madam Speaker, as we look ahead, we are not just celebrating the past, we are actively planning for the future, for a healthier territory for generations to come. The strategic priorities for the next decade include ensuring sustainability and financial resilience of the NHI Fund, driving significant digital transformation and innovation, utilizing advanced analytics and developing an enhanced user-centered system. This will improve ease of use and navigation, enhance digital access to eligibility benefits and claims information, and promote transparency across the system. Further expansion of our provider network to ensure even broader access to quality care. Continuously enhancing our claims management processes for greater efficiency and accuracy, and undertaking crucial legislation and policy review and updates to ensure NHI remains agile, relevant, and responsive to the evolving healthcare needs of our territory. Madam Speaker, we acknowledge that the system is not perfect. However, we reaffirm our commitment to continuously improve the nature and nurture NHI for a healthier future for all. The future of NHI depends on a continuous shared responsibility among all stakeholders, government, healthcare providers, citizens, and crucially, as stewards of the system. The NHI recognizes their responsibility to provide ease of access to information and will continue to embrace ongoing efforts like digital transformation, network expansion, and policy evolution. Together, we will continue to grow and strengthen the healthcare system of our territory. Madam Speaker, I thank you. Madam Speaker, my next statement kind of ties into the first. It's on the importance of timely Social Security contribution. Madam Speaker, I rise to address a matter of national importance, the continued sustainability of our Social Security system. Social Security is the cornerstone of social protection in our territory. It ensures that our citizens, our workforce, and their families have access to essential benefits in times of need. We must recognize and affirm this indispensable role employers play in maintaining this system. Paying contributions is not only a statutory obligation, it is a moral commitment to the well-being of our people and the resilience of our economy. Madam Speaker, timely and accurate contributions are more than compliance. There is sound business practice and a strategic advantage. Employers who remain current in their obligations strengthen their workforce by ensuring employees are covered for pensions, medical care, and other protections. This assurance builds trust, reduces anxiety, and enhances productivity. Improve recruitment and retention as workers who are more likely to join and stay with employers who reliably secure their benefits and health coverage. maintain good standing with public agencies and counterparties, enabling smooth participation in government tenders, certifications, and professional engagements that require proof of compliance. Enhance financial predictability by aligning cash flows with scheduled contribution, reinforcing audit readiness and operational continuity. Build reputation and resilience. A visible commitment to employee welfare strengthen brand integrity and community confidence. Most importantly, when payments are geared towards contributions rather than penalties, every dollar is directed toward protecting employees' coverage and securing the benefits they have earned. This is both prudent and principled. Madam Speaker, our Social Security framework is intentionally inclusive. In some jurisdictions, informal and self-employed workers are excluded from social protection. In the Virgin Islands, every self-employed individual who registers and actively pays contribution is eligible for the full range of Social Security benefits. This reflects our commitment to fairness and equity, ensuring that all workers across sectors have access to protection. Madam Speaker, life is unpredictable. Illness, accidents, and incapacity can occur without warning. Without regular contributions, families may be left without pensions or medical support during periods of vulnerability. Social Security and National Health Insurance exists to provide a safety net, but that protection depends on consistent, accurate, and timely contributions. It is a responsibility we share and one we must uphold, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to reassure employers that encountering financial challenges in meeting obligations are not a cause for despair or embarrassment. Both the Social Security Board and National Health Insurance stand ready to work with you. Employers are invited to visit these offices promptly to arrange practical payment plans that best fit their business realities. For added convenience, employers are also encouraged to utilize our secure online payment portals, which makes compliance easier, faster, and more efficient. This digital operation reduces administrative burdens and ensures timely remittances without the need for in-person visit. A constructive, confidence-building approach includes: 1, scheduling a meeting with Social Security and NHI officers to review your account. 2, bringing payroll records and recent remittance statements for clarity and accuracy. Setting a realistic installment plan and committing to maintain current contributions while addressing any arrears. 4, automating payments or using online portals to maintain timeliness and reduce administrative burdens. 5, communicating with employees about coverage status to sustain trust and morale. This is a dignified, solution-oriented path. Early engagement ensures that payments remain focused on contributions and coverage, protecting your employees and stabilizing your business. Madam Speaker, I urge every member of this Honorable House to join in championing this cause. Let us work together to promote compliance and encourage employers across our territory to take proactive steps. By using our platform to share the importance of timely contributions and the benefits of keeping payments geared towards contributions rather than penalties, we can collectively strengthen our Social Security and National Health Insurance systems. Leadership in this matter is about partnership and advocacy, standing united to safeguard the welfare of our people. Madam Speaker, Social Security is a solemn undertaking. It is our collective promise that when we contribute, we protect ourselves, our families, our workforce, and the future of this territory. I call upon all employers to pay contribution on time, keep payments geared towards contribution rather than penalties, and engage proactively with Social Security and National Health Insurance to establish any necessary payment arrangements. Together, we will preserve the security and dignity of our people for generations to come. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have one more statement. It's a very important one. Like NHI and Social Security Public Assistance Program. So I want to talk about the ongoing reforms to the Public Assistance Program. It's not too long, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to provide this Honorable House with an update on the status of the Public Assistance Program and the Ministry of Health and Social Development ongoing work to modernize social assistance in the Virgin Islands as we continue to strengthen support for individuals and families who need it most. Madam Speaker, public assistance remains a vital safety net, particularly for seniors, persons with disabilities, and households facing serious hardship. While the program is already operating under a reformed framework, the ministry's priority is to ensure that assistance is delivered consistently and fairly, with clear rules, proper documentation, and service standards that the public can trust. Honourable members will recall that as an interim measure, Cabinet approved updated monthly public assistance grants amongst on 5th February 2025, pending the full benefit structure under the revised framework. These increases took effect from 28 February 2025 and were applied to all eligible existing beneficiaries. Since implementation, the impact has been clear. In 2025, the updated grants benefited more than 500 recipients, representing a 13% increase in the number of persons served and a 16% increase in total program disbursements when compared to 2024. Madam Speaker, by way of example, 188 elderly persons received support totaling more than 569,000, alongside other targeted provisions such as disability supplements, home care assistance, and medical grants. Madam Speaker, this decision was not an accounting exercise. It was direct relief. It helped beneficiaries manage basic needs during a period of rising costs, while the ministry continued a deeper work of strengthening and modernizing the program. Madam Speaker, to support orderly implementation and building lasting capacity, the ministry engaged a consultant to support the public assistance program implementation under the amended legislative framework. The public assistance program has grown in scope and complexity, particularly following a consolidation of previously fragmented discretionary grants into a single, more transparent system. While this consolidation strengthened governance and accountability, it also increased the volume and complexity of applicants now managed by the Social Assistance Division. While staff have continued to work diligently, it was identified that many day-to-day processes were still shaped by legacy procedures and terminology that predate the current framework. Left unaddressed, this creates inconsistency, operational inefficiency, and unnecessary vulnerability to appeals. For that reason, the consultancy was deliberately designed as a 24-week phased program focused on addressing these gaps in a practical and substantial way so that improvements remain in a place after the consultant's assignment ends. Madam Speaker, it is important for the public to understand that this is not reform in theory. It is reform in practice, affecting how assistance is assessed, decided, documented, and reviewed. Work is in progress in parallel across the areas that most directly affect service quality, including the documentation of standard operating procedures and practical tools, so staff are not forced to improvise and decisions are applied consistently. Appeals ready decision-making with clearer written reasons and stronger file quality aligned with enhanced procedural safeguards. Strengthen data protection and confidentiality practices to safeguard personal information and build public confidence. improve digitization readiness, reducing reliance on manual processes, and improving timeliness, reporting, and customer service. More structured verification and interagency coordination to ensure eligibility checks are fair, lawful, and effective. Madam Speaker, these changes make the program more reliable for beneficiaries and more manageable for the staff who administer it. Madam Speaker, public assistance reform is part of a broader national direction. The Virgin Islands require a social protection system that is easier to understand, easier to administer, and better able to respond to both long-term hardship and sudden shocks. That is why the ministry is continuing work in stages towards the development of a broader social protection bill. This bill is intended to replace the existing Public Assistance Act and establish a modern legislative framework for social assistance and wider social protection. It is expected to strengthen governance and cross-government coordination, establish a dedicated social protection fund, and introduce a single register support by a social protection information management system. The experience gained from implementing the Reform Public Assistance Program, including the operational lessons now being captured through the current consultancy, will directly inform the wider legislative effort and help ensure it is practical, implementable, and supported by the systems and staffing required to deliver. Madam Speaker, the work underway reflects this government's continued commitment to investing in people, particularly those who are most vulnerable. Public assistance is not a static program. It is a living system that must evolve with the needs of our communities. Through increased grant support, improved system, strengthened oversight, and targeted capacity building, the ministry is ensuring that assistance reaches those who need it in a manner that is fair, dignified, and accountable. At the same time, we are laying the groundwork for a stronger, more resilient social protection framework, one that protects the most vulnerable today, while preparing the territory to respond more effectively to future challenges. Madam Speaker, this is responsible governance. It is compassionate governance, and it reflects our determination to ensure that no one in the Virgin Islands is left behind. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I call on the clock.
Item number 6, presentation of papers.
I call upon the Premier Minister of Finance to lay his documents.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to lay on the table the following documents. British Virgin Islands Financial Investigation Agency Annual Report 2024, and British Virgin Islands Financial Investigation Agency Approved Budget Estimates 2025. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I call on the Minister for Communications and Works to lay his documents.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to lay on the table the following document: Ministry of Communications and Works Annual Report 2023.
I call on the clock.
Item number 7, notices of motions given orally.
I call on the Premier Minister of Finance to give notice.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to give notice that at a later stage in the proceedings, I will seek leave to move the motion standing in my name under items 8, 1, Roman numeral 1 to Roman numeral 3, Roman numeral 5 through Roman numeral 7 on the order of the day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I call on the Minister for Communications and Works to give notice.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to give notice that at a later stage in the proceedings, I would seek leave to move the motion standing in my name under item 8.1, Roman numeral 4, on the order of the day.
I call on the clock.
Item number 8, public business. 1, government business.
I call on the Premier Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to move the following motion, that the House resolve itself into a committee of the whole House to consider the draft report on the debate and deliberations of the Constitutional Review Report.
Honorable members, a motion has been moved and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. The motion is passed. At this time, the House will resolve itself into a committee of the whole House. House is now in committee.